bépp lay fay.
sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jah Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.
It's now 27 minutes past 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, the 4th of December, 2025. It's coffee time with Peter Gomez. Thanks for joining us. It's that time again, every Thursday, to have Nyun Suñ Kotola, Suñ Magju Baha Baha Bah. Alhaji Baimas Taal, and I'm looking at his proposed lineup for today. Senegambia, a myth or reality? What is Senegambia in the eyes of the colonialists and the colonized? Geographical versus political definition of Senegambia. Resistance of geographic and political definition of Senegambia by the settlers. The French-English, the coups, push and pull on Senegambia. 1981 events leading to the Confederation. Why Confederation, not Federation? Why the breakup? Can the two countries integrate? Why and why not? So a lot of issues to try to squeeze into an hour, but xam nga moom ndaanaan la tigi waxtaan wi yépp su ko dooree ci cabinet bi ba ba moo dugga ci salle bi doo ko yéeg ba muy ñëw ba ca perong ba ba ca état ba yépp dafa smooth ba nga xam ne du jar sax bi ne maa ngi nii jógee ko ci cabinet bi maa ngi ñëw ci salle bi maa ngi nii jeexal naa salle bi maa ngi ñëw ci perong bi tam jeex na maa ngi dem ci état bi moom dafa ni ko de gaay waxee ci anglais dafa weave into all the different facets. Alaaji Baye Mastal ñu laa dalalaat ci jotaay bi.
jërëjëf Peter kontaan naa pour dellusiwaat fii comme niñ ko dee faral di def alxames ju nekk di la gërëm sa déglukat yi itam léegi moom day man xaw ma ndax amee violent ou star xaw ma ban la si
superstar
fu ma romb rek ñeneen ñi dama jinaa suuf-suufal ne ma ne day wax de dafa am borom xam-xam yi dañ nekk si réew mi du ñooy wax man leen man nag dama ñeme microphone so bàkkaar la sa xam-xam nga dem si bàmmeel ak moom lifin ko xale yi kii ko ba léegi dama ne man sax suma audience mooy ndaw ñi ma jinaa kii la ma xam maa leen koo wax moo tax ma dellu si waat
okay. We will come back to Wolof later on, but just to set the scene about Senegambia being either a myth or a reality.
Yes, I chose this topic because I've been thinking about it for many, many, many years. And I'm a Senegambian. My dad is a Senegalese. I'm born in Gambia. But my dad went to the war and became a Gambian. And I lived the dream of Senegambia. It's something that I believed in so much. But we celebrate my 79th birthday. At some point, I said, well, that's just a myth.
Senegambia is a myth.
Yeah. Then another point I said is reality. Now, as you said, the way I present my thing, I always think, how am I going to present it? I'm going to lay down some premises first. What I'm going to say, some of them are historical facts. Some conclusions are my own conclusion, analyzing the historical facts. One thing the first premise I want to put is that Senegambia region remains a cultural and economic unit, strong ethnic or family ties across the border. Lu olof di wax benn bopp la kenn mënu ko xar ñaar.
Waaw saa yu nekk de moom.
Waaw
su rëxëree amee ci diggante bi ñu fàttali wax jooje.
Then another premise I'll put is that Gambia and Gambians always wanted a sovereign, independent nation. Yesteryear, now, and I would say tomorrow. They always want that. But starting from the colonialists, at one point, they didn't want that. I'll get into that. They didn't want that. But Gambians always wanted that. Therefore, whenever we move towards closer to one nation, that is in our DNA, stop us and say, don't lose your sovereignty. That's why I say then it's a myth. But why do you then talk about Senegambia? If it is a myth in certain aspect, we have to go into history to understand what is Senegambia. Because Senegambia, we have to define Senegambia. In my presentation, I looked at Senegambia into two phases. One is the regional Senegambia, which is a reality, which starts historically from the river Senegal to the river Gambia and spilling over to part of Guinea-Bissau. That's a region where we share a lot of things in common. The same families, the same culture, almost everything the same. Like the Muslims, they go to Tuba or Tuawon. We Christians go to Papangin. You know, we the same food. Benachin is the two countries, the same names. Nobody can change that. That is reality.
Okay.
Now, that reality, during the 19th century, want to change that to become like one nation. That's why it started becoming a myth, according to my analysis. Gambia, let's say this area, the Portuguese were the first who came here, and they established trading posts, etc. And were trading on ivory, ice, spices, etc. Then came the slave trade. That was very lucrative. They went to slave trade and slavery and so forth. So they were just along in the Gambia, along the river, and so forth. Fast forward from when slavery was abolished, the British also came in, and were interested only in the river Gambia. That's why I say the Gambia. It's the river they were interested, and few land here and there. And they left the landmass to the French. So the Gambia became a very small thing. But geographically, we share the same thing, the same natural resources. I remember when I was a minister, I was digging a borehole, and somewhere in the Fonyi, and where I dug the borehole, behind the village was Casamance, was Senegal. So here I have the borehole in Senegal and the water in Gambia.
Oh, wow.
There is a town I was called Digante. It's called Digante Angale, Digante Francais. It's in Jara. I happen to be part of that boundary commission that look into that. So you have that reality. Now, we talk about the Senegambia as a region, which is a reality. Now, when you looked at the other part of Senegambia, which you want a political unity, bringing two sovereign independent states to make it as one, that's very challenging and became very challenging, almost impossible. We go back to history, like when the scramble for Africa the Berlin Conference 1884, when the French and the British agreed and the British took Gambia. And so we have a story that if you look at the map of the Gambia, at the bottom, it's like you take this bottle, drawing map like that. They were drinking beer, almost drunk, and they put it in the middle of the river, making that, if you look at the back, it's like arch. So that's Gambia. And they left the rest to the French. So when the French had the rest, that was time they haven't gone into real colonialism. Then the French have a system of government called assimilation. So assimilation. So the Senegalese they were trying to assimilate the Senegalese to, you have to look like French. You have to be very civilized, and you'll be French, and we'll even give you citizenship. But the English were aloof, indirect ruling using the chiefs. So that's why in Gambia we speak our local languages. In Senegal, if everyone wants to speak French, then because of that, you begin to see the rivalry. The rivalry was not the Gambians and the Senegalese, but the French and the English were having the rivalry. And that rivalry that the colonists have put in our mind continue up to today. They are telling the Senegalese, you are...
So it's imported rivalry.
It's imported. It's imported. To the point that when we were young, we'll be very happy if we go to Senegal for holidays. Because I'll come back and bluff to my friends. Oh, I've been on a lift. Oh, have you seen the very tall building
Yes.
Machino,
Yes.
building administrative?
Yes.
And I'll buy some nice plastic with 2 buttons and come. Wonderful on Senegal.
Yes.
So you begin to have that inferiority complex. So the Senegalese also have that superiority complex, trying to manifest that superiority complex. As they're trying to manifest that superiority complex, Gambians have the resistance. Like they say in Wolof, Tutenade why can do my up. That thing can do my up continued. So that's the historical background. We're having things that are put in our mind, and we're having that rivalry and so forth. But the people themselves, because of Mwakaya and so forth, we were, brothers and sisters of the same family. Now, we gain independence. No, before independence, I'll just backtrack. Before independence, once the French and the British have the rivalry, one time the British wanted to cede Gambia to the French. And they said Gambia is an economic burden to the economy of Britain and doesn't have strategic value. That's what his first premise is. Oh, wow. Then there was also talk of exchanging Gambia with another country like Gabon. That's why when you see there, I say the Akus, you had the settlers who were here. They resisted. They in fact formed a movement which they call Gambia for the movement to protest against the move to exchange Gambia. We are not going to allow that. We are not going to be French. Then the English merchants also joined them and pressurized Parliament. It went to the House of Lords. Wow. So we are not going to allow Gambia to be exchanged. So you are seeing that anytime they're trying to bring the two countries, this was long time ago, and there was that resistance. Now we're coming to have independence. It was muted that Gambia still, why can't we unite with Senegal? Because you are too small, you cannot make it as a nation. Gambia resisted. So that resistance always been there. Gambia resisted. We had independence. We said, okay, then you two countries, you must work close together. That was the birth of the Senegalo-Gambian Secretariat, headed by Sidi Nasi and my brother Ibu Taal, Laurent Jatta, Jibi Bah. I know all of this. And they played, the Senegal played a very important role. We had sectoral meetings, we had joint commission, forestry commission, water commission, fisheries commission, different. Sports was big. During Semaine National, we will go. and join. And some Gambians were resisting. I said, why do we go? This is for region. Are we the 6th region? You say, no, we were going as a nation to join. But there have always been that resistance, independence. Now, just give the backdrop of trying by the colonialists to integrate the two countries, etc. So, but we were trying for that cooperation. When we had independence in 1965, we changed from left-hand drive to right-hand drive to accommodate Senegal. Because by the time you were driving from Senegal, keeping right, when you get to Karang, you change to left. And it was confusing.
Yes.
So we accommodated then. The vehicle in Senegal had yellow lights. We had bright lights. So Gambia, we changed to yellow. I remember you don't have the bulb, you kind of paint it. It's not a paint, translucent, yellow. So we are still trying to accommodate, Senegal. We had joint border control. Me as a director of forestry, we federated all the villages along the border that fire doesn't know boundary. If there is fire very close to the boundary in Senegal, the closest village of Gambia will go and fight, vice versa. But we continue coexisting, independence, after independence, boom, Confederation came. But why Confederation? I'll go back to that. We all know 1981 Kukoy Sambasanya.
Well, not all.
Not all. Maybe I'm assuming.
The two in the background have no idea.
Maybe I'm assuming.
Neither was born in 1981.
81, you have Kukoy Sambasanya, who he virtually took the country over. He took the country.
Yeah.
What I'm going to tell you are facts that I know I lived with. My late brother, Ambassador Taal,
Amen.
He played the most important role. Because when the Senegalo-Gambia Secretariat was opened in 1966, he was among the drafters of the cooperation between the two countries. So he knew it off head. So when the coup happened, he knew that Senegal can intervene, but they cannot intervene if there is no request from Sadauda. Sadauda was in UK. So he would
attending the
wedding of
today King Charles III.
Exactly.
And the late Diana.
Yeah. So he drafted the letter of request for Sadauda to sign. But how to get it to Sadauda? He went to Cable and Wireless. He was driven by my other brother, Salih Taal, put in a car.
Telegraph Road.
There was Telegraph Road.
Yes.
We used to be afraid of the road because that's where you have
the death house
the death house.
And the mortuary.
And when the light is on, they said, there's a dead body. So we don't pass there at night. I remember that. I never passed there at night. When the light is on, there's a dead body. So he went to Cable and Wireless there and to call Sadauda. And he was told, no. He's no longer president. You don't have a government. So Ibu told them, what are you talking about? The constitutionally elected government is the government of Sadauda. If you don't allow me to call Sadauda, and if this thing ends, you're going to be charged for treason. They allowed him. He called Sadauda and said, within 24 hours, you have to be in Dakar. There is a letter I'm sending to Dakar. If you sign it, Senegal military will intervene. Sadauda said he was going to go. Sadauda was very close to the manager, head of British Caledonia in UK. British Caledonia was the one running between London and here.
Yeah, Bikal.
Bikal.
Yes.
So he requested Bikal to take him to Dakar, and the manager refused, hands off. They didn't see him as president anymore. So Abdou Diouf sent him a plane. Yeah. He went. Ibu Taal gave that letter to Mas Sose of Hill Street. Said, you have to take this to Senegal. How did he go? He went behind Market, Galikung, to all the way to Moor, because there was no transportation. He went to Moor with that letter, got to Moor, found his way to Dakar. Went straight to the embassy. Honorable Bakari Dabo was the ambassador. He gave him the letter. And Bakari walked. Rida Chong is just next door to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Just walked across to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and gave it to Mustafa Niasse, who opened it and went to the palais, and they called in Sir Dawda. Abdou Diouf signed, Sir Dawda signed. Senegal came and foiled the coup. That's why Ibu Taal was compensated to be the commissioner. The rest is history. You know that. Now, when it failed, and Sir Dawda became installed as president, and all of a sudden we started talking about Confederation. So the rumors, nobody knows this, only Sir Dawda and Abdou Diouf can tell you, even Ibu Taal doesn't know. When Sir Dawda went to Abdou Diouf, they locked themselves into cabinet. What they talked about, nobody knew.
To this day.
To this day. Some people say, oh, maybe fofu ko hen na la dimbale de way nak dañoo nekk benn. That's the rumor. That's why I say federation or confederation. What we learned is that Senegal wanted federation. Sir Dawda didn't want federation, they comprised a confederation. So, bobu waxi cabinet la. So when they came now to draw the protocol, you have the Kour Declaration. It was not written at Kour. They were in Mansakila Bar from Bansang, floating, and Ibu single-handedly was drafting it. He said he put the last full stop at Kour. Last full stop at Kour, and he told them, I'm ready. So they signed it there. That's why it's called the Kour Declaration. Now, here we have seen historically that everyone was resisting. Tubaab yaa ngi doon resist, beginning of independence ñu ngi resist, etc.
Aku yaa ngi doon resist.
Asik yaa ngi resist. So war nañoo gërëm aku yi de. Ni kon ñun dem neen bu yàgga de. Ñoom dañu war a continuer maa ngi leen a lifin dañu war a continuer di play big political role.
su ma doon ubbi pro na maa ne bonjour du ma ne good morning.
Ni kon bonjour la ñoo wax yooyu leen ni kon fu mu nekk ni kon suutantaay la ñoo sol de ak yooyu leen because assimilation bi.
ak suñu maam suñu nga xam ne ñun jàngal la ñu sol suutantaay.
That's right. That's right. So léegi ñu am di confederation bu ñu amee confederation bi nag ñu ne si yan fànn la ñoo kii ñu ne dañu war a am confederal army. Gambia dina def 1/3, Sénégal 2/3. ñun amuñ soldat. Field force leen amoon si leen dem parliament pass di bill. duma ko far maa ngi toog ak late AK Ndiaye from permanent secretary tukkat la woon ba ñoo pass di bill. mu ne ma nañ tuxi ñu génna mu ne Sir Dawda bill bi ñii ñoo koo daaneli bu Sir Dawda di génn lifin moom génn na àdduna ma ne waxoon na ko ñu am di confédéral army boobu mu ngi dox ba bu baax a baax ñu ne beneen bi mooy lan mooy monetary and economic union beneen bi mooy ban harmonization of our diplomatic policies bu si dëgg bi nag boobu moo indi problème bi the economic and financial union.
Okay. Dinaa la ne nga pause foofu noonu. ñu dal di ne ñu téye foofu xaaj bu njëkk bi. ñaareeli xaaj bi nag mooy ñu ñëw ñu dugg ci olof.
waaw
nga wax ñu xew-xew yi nga xam ne jiitu woon nañ. confederation bi nga xam ne moom la Gambia ak Sénégal amoon. ak ni confederation bi ñëwee. ak li tax confederation demul ba nekk fédération ni ko Sénégal buggee woon. waaye Gambia am ci xel ñaar daal ba affaire gi daal di collapse. te balaa loolu tamit nga ne tubaab yi biñ fi nekkee ñu ngi doon fexe nuñ boolee ñaari réew yi ñu doon benn. waaw parce que jokkoo bu rafet